What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the channel, and thank you so much for jumping into another video. It is Friday, market's closed, it's almost 6 p.m. Yes, I am on my way home, and as you can see, I am not in my normal polo shirt or Adidas type shirts or whatever. I am in this very loud, live MTV, Spring Break 1994 MTV shirt. And there is a reason why I'm wearing a Spring Break 1994 MTV shirt. And it's not because of what you're thinking about MTV, but it's because at my full-time gig, my full-time job, we had meetings all day long today. So the leadership of the meeting that I attended today had made the decision to make it a 90s theme. So we actually celebrated the 90s today, made it pretty fun. We had all kinds of games, using music to know what kind of TV shows from the 90s and all that. But anyway, you were probably thinking maybe I'm wearing an MTV shirt right now. You've probably seen on the news by now that MTV, literally within the last couple of weeks here in the United States, has made the decision to kind of plug on many of their channels. YouTube TV has removed MTV, or from a lot of networks, they've removed MTV. And the reason for that is, number one, in 1998 is when MTV Music actually launched on TV. It was originally just music, and then it went to reality shows, and that's when they started getting really big on the reality shows. You remember The Real World. You remember all these different reality shows that MTV was now hosting. Well, they've made the decision now by the end of 2025 in several countries over in Europe, Brazil, that it's completely done, completely shut down. There's no more MTV. And I think it's called Paramount Group that actually owns MTV that's made these decisions. But at the end of the day, what they've realized is that the music channel side of the business is just not, it doesn't work anymore. So now it's going to be strictly reality shows. And my understanding from what I read this morning is it's MTV HD, that you can still actually see shows that are reality TV. But aside from that, there's no access to MTV anymore. So it was just kind of coincidental because my wife actually purchased this shirt for me specifically for this meeting so that I had something semi-cool to wear, although I'm not sure if it's very cool. But you should have seen what other people were dressed in. I think I actually look pretty cool. So you are not here to hear me talk about MTV or TV shows or any of that stuff, and are probably thinking, you just gave us 2.5 minutes of stuff we don't even really care about. And that's okay. That's fine. I'm sharing with you my day, and it's my channel. I get to do that. So you're welcome if you want to know more about MTV. But let's get into the real reason why we're here today. First, my name is Josh, and I am just your average Joe day trader. And if this is your first time visiting the channel, I thank you so much for being here. Thank you for logging in. Hit that subscribe button for me. Hit that like button. And listen, I've got almost 1,820 subscribers right now, and many of you are not subscribed. You're just watching videos. So do me a favor. Those of you that are watching are not subscribed, hit the subscribe button. And let's shoot, since we've got over 1,800 subscribers, let's shoot for 1,000 likes on this video and help me to boost the algorithms for the video to get it pumped out to more people so that I can help more people to learn about being a day trader, what to look for, charting, support and resistance levels, the strategy box support that I do, everything that I do in my channel, my videos. I want to get it out there to more people. So please hit that like button for me. And then hit the notification bell so you're notified every time that I upload a new video. So let's talk about the day today. First of all, unbelievable day today. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, coming off of Friday last week. Horrible market days. I literally every night had to go home and share with my wife. Don't even ask me about the market. We are red. We are down. I share with you in my last video that I was down about $12,000. I'm happy to say that I'm back somewhat into the green. Well, I'm still short, down about $7,500 in my day trading account. And if you are smart about how you trade, you wait and see these times in the market where there's volatility, the market drops, the market comes down, the market rebounds, the market comes back, the market breathes super strong after having a retest. It happens. It's natural. So again, like I said in one of my past videos this week, take a deep breath, be calm, and know that you just have to have a little patience. You have to wait and see what's going to happen with the market. And I'm going to give you case in point, because today, if you can believe this, and I just almost cannot believe this, but the S&P 500 today hit another new all-time high. So you tell me if the market is in a bearish situation where it's going to continue to run down and go down and cause everyone's accounts to continue to drain. How is it possible then that the S&P 500, that's controlled by NVIDIA, controlled by Palantir, controlled by the big Mag 7, Meta, Google, Amazon, right? They're all running up. and pulling back a little bit, up and pulling back a little bit, still putting themselves in positions where they continue to grow and continue to make people a lot of money. S&P 500 is up. Look at it right here. I'm putting it up on the screen. That is a new all-time high today and unbelievable. So remember, we're going to go into next week now with the market closing at 8 p.m. tonight. No 24-hour market, no next day trading, no Saturday, Sunday, anything. And we're going to be waiting to see what happens Sunday night when we hit 8 p.m. for the market to reopen. And you'd love to do my Sunday night live gap party where we're waiting to see the S&P 500 gap up or gap down. Let me tell you what I did today, though. It's for multi-purpose. Some of you are going to say, why would you do that? Why wouldn't you sell and get out? Why would you wait? Okay. I believe very strongly in charting your support and resistance levels. Remember, you're doing two things if you're following my strategy. You're doing an overnight box strategy and you're doing a floor and ceiling, which act as support and resistance. What I mean by that is you look at your charts, you pull up a 5-day range at a 30-minute chart, and you're finding the lowest of the 5 days and the highest of the 5 days, putting lines on your charts to see that level. You're now in that channel for 5 days. And then you want to understand your box strategy, which is take the prior day, like today for me, on Saturday or Sunday, I'm going to build a box, highest and lowest for today, pull it across to Monday. And that's going to be my support and resistance levels for me to look at for the next trading day. Today, APLD ran super strong. Everything, for the most part, ran super strong. Tesla, not so much. Okay. There's a couple other stocks out there, not so much. But if you look at most of the AJDT best day trade stocks, most of them were in the green and about 3/4 of the day. And then what happened? Well, we started to have some pullback. It's Friday, always happens. APLD, my shares of stock in APLD were all the way up to a high of $35.78. I committed to, and my brother-in-law, we agreed we were not going to sell APLD today, which we're both in APLD and APLX, which is a 2X part of APLD. But we decided $36 was going to be our sell point. We were waiting for it to hit that resistance level of $36. If it broke it, let it continue.
Ozempic aged my face by 15 years. So let's talk about it. It's called.
Right now, you're saying to yourself, what just happened? And I am thinking the same thing. No, this is not an episode of Back to the Future. I am not in the movie with Doc, and I did not get transported from my car into the studio. But what did happen was that something happened as far as some sort of an advertisement or something kicked in on my phone. And that's what you heard and saw me looking like, what just happened? And next thing I know, when I started talking again, I lost volume. There was no sound for the rest of my recording. So here we are in the studio for part 2 of today's update, which is totally cool and totally fine because now we can spend just a couple minutes looking at some of the charts. And let's get back to what we were talking about, which was APLD and APLX. So first, let's go to APLX and let me just show you right here what happened today for APLD and APLX. All right, I'm going to pull this back up a little bit. You're going to see that we opened up very strong on APLX and APLD the same. APLX is the 2X long. This one is very expensive. Matter of fact, you could have, if you were part of the Discord and getting some of the plays that we were in, you could have gotten back into APLX at $91, which is the cheapest it's been since its inception, because APLX is relatively still new. $91, back up here to $119, back up here to $125, back up here today to $135 at the high. So my brother-in-law and I decided, as I said before, that we were waiting. Now, obviously on this one, different support and resistance levels. But if we go to APLD, okay, and I'll just pull up mine, you'll see here, and I had posted it already. I put it up in the video. You see the box strategy. But what you can see here on the, let's go to the 1 hour, okay, you can see here that we had several resistance levels that we had been kind of working with. And let's get off auto. Let's pull this down a little bit. Okay, so today, when the market opened up, it had an unbelievable run all night long, pretty much. A little bit of a horizontal here, but then started cranking in the pre-market. This is only 8 a.m., right? This thing went from 33.96 all the way to 34.70, all the way up to 35, let's see on this one, 35.73, and that's where it was, 35.73, and I was up almost, I don't know, $700. And I'm like, no, because my brother-in-law Carlos and I had a conversation about this and said it's probably going to hit 36 today. We're going to wait for it to 36. That was my exit point. And the thing about it is, all right, I'm playing support and resistance levels. So look here, you see this is a $33.38 resistance level. It tapped down, wicked to 33, but rejected. Okay, buyers pushed it right back up. And so now what you're seeing here, it's kind of hard to see it this way. Let me make it a little bit bigger. There we go. But this $33, it rejected. It tried to push down here. It rejected. It started rejecting here. So one rejection, two rejection, although it wicked there. Third rejection, and then you knew after that, and it was red, but the buyers pushed it back up. Well, boom, into this next green candle, a little bit of uncertainty, and then boom, it just kept going. It just kept bouncing on this 33, basically $33 support level. And with the rejection pushing it back up, I'm confident and comfortable that come Sunday, this thing will be back up on an up run. There's nothing behind it that is going to cause it to come south unless something crazy happens with the White House, or who knows what could happen. You know, one crazy X tweet could cause everything to go back in the garbage. But I'm based on my trending here. It rejected multiple times on this $33 support line. And so now it's on its way back up, and we'll see what happens. Now, when it hits 34.25, what will it do? This 34.25 is basically the midpoint of my box strategy. And that's the other thing I wanted to share with you is the box strategy. Like I shared it with you earlier in the video. I have this box strategy set, and now that we're in here and on my chart itself, I'm going to pull it back where it belongs because it's got to go through the next day's trading. So now it should live in this channel. Okay. If it, just to give you a quick bird's eye view, if it breaks up and goes through this 34.27 resistance level, and it keeps going towards 34.81, which is in actuality a resistance level, then we're shooting a 35.77, potentially 36.28, potentially 38.92. So that's what I'm looking for here. And that's what I want for APLD. And you could also basically do the same thing for APLX. And that's, where the other position I'm in, as well as my brother-in-law, are in APLX. Same idea. Okay. Doing basically the same thing. A little bit of a difference here in the candles, but it sort of follows the same pattern. So APLD, APLX, take a look at it. While we're here in the studio and we're able to pull up charts a lot easier than me having to steer a car, watch out for 18 wheelers coming at me. Let's look at some of the stocks that I called out in the Discord this morning. Now, obviously, if you're not a Discord member, you're not an elite member, go ahead and hit the join button down there. Join the elite membership so you can get locked into the Discord. We are, I'm basically putting out my plays in the morning, what I'm looking at, putting out a list of options, calls, and puts that look really good for the day that, you have to make your own decisions on. Not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not a financial planner, but I'm sharing with you what I'm doing. And if you want to be in the Discord with us, with this community we're building, then hit the join button, join the elite group, and be ready Monday morning when we get in Discord together and we start talking about plays. You start seeing everything I'm posting on Sunday night, what the rest of our team are posting, some really good stuff going on. And secure your spot now, because the spots are not going to be there forever. And at the price they're at, it's basically a really nice cup of coffee once a month that you would pay to be in the Discord with us right now. And most other Discords, even ones that I'm part of, cost on average, 30, 50, $100 to be part of those Discords. So jump in now while you can, fresh and new, learn and grow with us, and it'll be exciting to do something together. But let's take a look, because I called out several in the morning. First, let's go to the S&P 500 real quick. Now that we can kind of look at that, I want to share a couple things, and let's just kind of see how it did in my watch list, S&P 500. All right, yes, I'm on the daily. Okay, so here's what we had going on this morning. We have several levels going on here. Okay, now ignore some of these levels because these are different levels I'm doing different things with. But the levels that I called out this morning were that we needed to break above and open above 672.75. And if you see, look at where we landed up for the day. Let's go to the 1 hour. Okay. and we're going to see what happens here. All right, so did we open? Look at this beautiful uptrend already. Did we open above 672.75? Well, absolutely we did. We opened up at 675.71. So what I shared in Discord was we needed to also break 673. We broke 673, okay? I mean, we were well above it. We broke 673. And what I told the Discord group was if we can break 673, then we're going to make a new all-time high. So you could have bought calls, all right, 0DTE calls today, you know, basically with the technical knowledge that we were going to run up today based on how the market was opening. And we did open above 672.75, broke through above 673, and we did create an all-time high, a new all-time high. 678.47 is the highest the S&P 500 has ever been. So kudos for the call. All right. And I've got some great community that I bounce this information off of when I'm doing my own charting to confirm it through an analysis, through, really understanding the technicals. And the idea this morning was that we would break off and we would hit an all-time high. And we did exactly that. So congratulations to you in the Discord. If you jumped in on this play, you probably made some fire money today because it did print 678.47. Incredible, incredible. And then it did pull back towards the close of the market day, which pulled the entire market back. And I shared earlier in a video about us pulling back a little bit. But S&P 500, thank you. Beautiful. Let's look at the next one I called out this morning, which was SoFi Technologies. And again, same thing, SoFi. I had said that we needed SoFi to open at or above $28.60. This candle right here was already opened up at $28.87. Confirmation in this next green candle in the 1 hour. Huge green, overwhelmingly engulfing candle gave us this basically understanding of what it was going to do for the next hour. And it did exactly that. 28.60, 28.75, 29.05 was the next level, which we wicked all the way to 29.87. Great opportunity to play some calls, buy some shares. And then when you saw this red candle turn, which let's go to the 15 minute because that's where I primarily live in trades. All right. But you see here, unbelievable with this 15 minute, this 15 minutes, this 15 minutes. As soon as you saw this start to form this red engulfing candle, boom, you're out. Had an opportunity this morning, depending on where you got in, because I call this out prior to opening about 7:30 this morning. I put it in the Discord. So let's say this is 8:15. Let's say you got in here on this big candle, 28.42 all the way to 29.87. Not bad. $1.50 a share. Could have made some fat money or fire money on SoFi. Another good call out today. We don't even have to look at the downtrend. However, what I do want to share with you is I also called out the downtrend. So 27.80 was basically the beginning of where we needed to consider it coming down. So what did it do? As soon as we had this red engulfing candle, yes, we had some green pushback volatility back to red because this did not even meet the full size of this engulfing candle, and this candle together almost make this candle, but it didn't. So back to another red engulfing candle, dropping down to another engulfing candle, leveled off here, pulled back up, came back down, basically ran horizontal the rest of the day, and with the S&P 500 dropped down. So you had an opportunity to make money on the up, you had an opportunity to make money on the down. And I hope that some of you that read this play in the Discord went after it. And I hope you did. SoFi is an incredible company, one that you should absolutely be taking a look at for longer term as well. Palantir was the next one on the list. Let's look at Palantir and see what it did. Palantir this morning, I put in the Discord that we needed to open above 180.90, 181.90. 181.90 was my level. So look, pre-market, we were already at 181.25 open, 183.83 on this monster candle. Already proved it was going to break 181.90. 184.90 is the next level. We got here. We didn't get to it there. We didn't get to it here, 183.27. We didn't get to it here, 183.55, but you saw still some uptrend momentum. You'd be in this play when the market opens. Now you make a decision and look at the size of this candle, okay? Basically opened up at 182.85 and ran all the way to 186.04. Even if you stayed in it just to this candle, 186.16, and you sold, took profit, got out of it here, shares or calls, what an incredible ride on Palantir. And it stayed pretty well horizontal to 184.91 was this resistance level here. And it danced, it used it as both a support and a resistance level. It was support, then it became resistance, then it became support, then it became resistance, okay? So, listen, we're also still at this 184.91 range and was on an uptrend before the market closed at 8 p.m. So very nice, very good. Excited to see what happens Sunday. The last two, one more I called out in the Discord with full data set. Robinhood. Let's look at Robinhood real quick, not Hood F. Robinhood, I basically said we needed to open above 135.60. Well, look at this pre-market 135.43, boom, 135.29, boom, 137.36. We already knew in pre-market we were running up. It was all going to be what happens when the market runs and opens up. And remember, we had CPI data today, first thing in the morning, and it was positive. It was good, a little soft, but good data. And it caused the market to run green. Should have been in this one too. Okay, Hood ran right here on this candle, 137.99 to 141.15, all the way to 142.19. Same thing. You see this candle, you get out. You watch what happens here. Worked its way back up a little bit the rest of the day. Robinhood, good numbers all the way around. A lot of uptrend. Last one I wanted to share with you in here, excuse me, is RGTI, Rigetti. And I told you that I'm a bag holder for Rigetti, and I'm not really happy about what's going on for Rigetti. Now, Rigetti had a chance, and I saw a lot of people actually were commenting they took profit and got out, took some of a loss on it because they're up in the high 40s into the 50s. All right, and so understanding what's going on with it right now, a lot of people are fearful of this one and selling it off, taking some loss with making some money back, which they did today. You can see here today, pretty much it had a low bottom in pre-market 40.77 all the way to 43.46. Grabbed the money and ran, and then you had a good idea that was happening. And what we needed to do is we needed to get this to $44. $44 is the next resistance level for this. It's not charted on here. But basically what I shared with the Discord was we've got two options here, okay? Because there is basically the potential for a inverted head and shoulders on this one, on this play right now. Now, if it actually completes the bottom of the head and shoulders, the second shoulder, then it potentially could run down and could get all the way to a support level of $31. I don't really want to see that. I'll be quite honest with you. I really would rather not see that. I'd rather see it pump back up. But today was the opportunity. We needed to get this to $44 and break $44 to start the uptrend back up. We did not get there. We got there in the 24-hour and pre-market basically yesterday, Thursday morning, but we didn't make it today. So now we're back down. We got to hope for another pump. If we can break above 44 and hold, then we are going to hopefully see it continue on an uptrend. All right. So listen, here's the deal. Hit that join button. Be ready on Monday morning with us in the Discord to read the plays, to see the plays, to chat with the community. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit that notification bell so you'll be notified every time we upload a new video. And again, if this is your first time here, thank you for being here. Thank you for being part of this. Sorry for the crazy video edit stuff going on. We went from the car to the studio, and it's totally fine because we got to look at some charts and give you a better idea, some things to think about over the weekend. I will be doing a video on Sunday. We're going to try to get live again, doing that for our Discord members. And our both levels, both tiers of the elite group and the entry level for AGDT, the Wall Street traders, just trying to get some lives going. We're still working on functionality and equipment So we may not be there yet, but there will be a video posted on Sunday night giving you what I plan to do, what I'm looking at, some potential plays on calls, etc. But some good stuff coming. So anyway, thank you so much for being here. God bless you. And we will see you Sunday for the Sunday Night Live. Gap up, gap down. Let's see what it does. Praying for gap up. Josh out. Peace.